CoreWeave just announced some bullish sentiment for itself, NVIDIA, Vertiv, and Dell technology investors. More importantly, we also did get some export restrictions easements in the semiconductor industry that could be a signal of hope for AI stock investors. Let me explain a little bit more in today's episode.
I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
All right, so let's start off with the big topic, and this is CoreWeave. So CoreWeave, for those that are not familiar, they build AI infrastructure, so these massive AI servers and AI data centers, and they rent it out to big customers, your OpenAI, your Google, your Microsoft, so they can use that infrastructure for some form of AI solution. Now, CoreWeave today on July 3rd of 2025 mentioned that building on our legacy as the first AI cloud provider to provide access to NVIDIA's HGX H100, NVIDIA H200, NVIDIA GB300 NVL72, they are continuing this trend and are the first to release the NVIDIA GB300 NVL72, which is housed within Dell's integrated rack scale system. So this is, in my opinion, pretty crucial. And we're going to talk a little bit of how this is bullish for NVIDIA. But first, I want to kind of talk about CoreWeave. So if you have been following this channel, this is the best place you're going to get any AI and semiconductor news for free. So CoreWeave, when I bought this stock in the 40s, one of the main reasons for it is they were able to build AI infrastructure pretty quickly. And I do believe in this era of the AI market, that is critical and crucial. And the reason they're able to do this is for two reasons. First, it does seem like they have a really great partnership with NVIDIA. NVIDIA would gladly send them the chips, maybe not first in line, but definitely in the top place, like somewhere in the front of the line, they would get AI chips. The second thing, it seems like they have a very great engineering team that is able to stand up these systems pretty quickly. And like I mentioned, in an era where AI is moving at such a rapid pace, being able to be the first in the AI infrastructure has people lined up to make sure they take that space. Because right now, it's very competitive, right? Imagine OpenAI and all these players, they come out and it's like, look, we need as much compute as we can, because if we end up losing compute, or if one of our competitors gets compute or AI infrastructure before us, it can help them get closer to us, or it can help them get further than what we're in right now. So that's why it's super crucial, because then CoreWeave has this first solution and they get to go to these big clients and say, look, I'll give you these solutions, but it's definitely going to be at a more pricier point than maybe you can get it a few months from now. And if you're going to sign with me, you're most likely going to sign long-term contracts, because I don't want something for just a month or two. There's other AI companies out there that would gladly pay the money right now and would gladly sign a long-term contract, which increases the chance of that infrastructure being successful and providing money in the long term. So I do believe the speed is crucial for CoreWeave, and they seem to continue to dominate in this space. They kind of talk a little bit kind of the specs behind it, and pretty much this is an amazing product for inference and training. Many people don't believe that NVIDIA is the king in inference, but with the NVL72, the ability to have 72 GPUs communicate as one is crucial for scale inference. And that is why the GB300 and the GB200 NVL72 is a mastermind, the king. And I'm going to say it again, the king of AI for both model, for both training and inference. No other player has the ability right now in the market to connect 72 GPUs to each other. Now, again, this is very bullish in my opinion for CoreWeave. Now, the stock price has actually run up a nice amount. I'm not buying at these levels. I've talked about it in the past. This is a stock I'm actually dollar costing out of. I'm kind of selling my positions, but remember, I got in at 40. So this is a one that more than 3x for me already. So I'm kind of dollar cost averaging out, but I see this as kind of a bullish sentiment to the overall business, maybe not necessarily to the valuation of the company. And again, me selling doesn't mean that I believe the stock price will drop. I believe stock prices can continue to go up. But I mean, I'm not going to give up multiple gains already. And at the end of the year, you really only need one or two massive winners in your portfolio that can completely help you destroy the overall market. And I'm not willing to lose that, especially since I already have so many investments in the AI space doing well, like NVIDIA, like AMD, and the list goes on and on. So now I want to talk about why this is very bullish for NVIDIA. So first this is the GB300. The GB300, or the Grace Blackwell, is a very unique system. The GB200 I thought was going to be the greatest product NVIDIA provided, but the GB200, as we're going to look at through various news articles coming out for like the past 6 months, did face delay issues, did face yielding issues. And while it was a great product and still is pretty much still ramping up and still being shipped out, it missed the mark because of those delays. Now, by NVIDIA showcasing that this is up and running already, and it was expected to probably be released later on throughout the year. Typically, you kind of get the products in the second half of the year. Right now, we're getting the new AI products in the mid of the year. Because of this, it gives an indication that one, NVIDIA is shipping the Blackwell Ultra. More importantly, is shipping the GB300 NVL72. Like I mentioned, it's a more unique product, a stronger product, but a harder product to make. It also means that because they're shipping that product, they're most likely getting some great yields out of it. So the whole supply chain drama, the whole delay issues that we saw in the GB200, we're not seeing here in the GB300. And luckily, we had kind of some alpha in Q1 of 2026 here. I am on fiscal.ai. This is the best platform I use on a daily basis for my investment thesis. Check out fiscal.ai/Jose for 15% off and 2 weeks for free. No credit cards needed. And in their most recent transcript for Q1 of 2026, NVIDIA and Jensen mentioned that the Blackwell Ultra sampling of GB300 systems began earlier this month. I believe this was on May at the major cloud service providers. And we expect production shipments to commence later this quarter. So everything is on track. The GB300 will leverage kind of that same architecture as the GB200. So it's going to be a perfect snap-on solution. And I do believe most analysts are underestimating and under-expecting how much the GB300 is going to do. If the yields are really good, and we're seeing that they are from results like this, I think that provides at least some evidence. I think the GB300 is going to be what I thought the GB200 was going to be. And I'm very, very excited about this. Now, staying here, I kind of want to look at some forward PE ratios for the three companies that we talked about right now. Not CoreWeave, like I mentioned. I think CoreWeave is actually pretty expensive, and it's a recent IPO that, looking at forward valuation and historical numbers, doesn't really give us much of a picture. But I'm looking here for NVIDIA for almost the past 5 years. Median forward PE ratio is 38.27. The median is not the average, so it does take off a lot of the noise, which I enjoy a lot. Right now, NVIDIA is sitting at 32.81, even after these massive rallies. So this stock is a little bit undervalued compared to its normal. I like NVIDIA. To me, this is, though, my number one position, close to 30% of my overall portfolio. This is one that, because of my position side, I don't know if I'm blinded by that position side, where even though it's a bit undervalued, this is not where I would be buying. I would do the very small dollar cost averaging. But again, I see various bullish case, and I am not selling any one of my NVIDIA shares so far. Now, Vertiv, and I'm going to talk about Vertiv in a bit, but Vertiv, for those that are not familiar, helps with the AI infrastructure, the cooling, the powering of these data centers. This one, as we're going to see, is working with CoreWeave to actually, let's go back to this CoreWeave thing. So we see that our joint collaboration with Dell Technologies, which is a public company, Switch, private company, so it doesn't really matter, and Vertiv on this deployment of NVIDIA GB200 is fundamental to our speed and agility. Remember what I mentioned earlier on, that the ability to be able to build AI infrastructure quickly is a moat in the market right now. It's not always going to be a moat, maybe not necessarily a moat. It's a strength and an asset. So we can see that the companies that are helping produce AI servers or AI factories pretty quickly are Dell Technologies and Vertiv. And I do believe this is a great indication that they're doing it really well. And it is a kind of a great marketing stunt. So Vertiv, we can see it is trading at way higher than its typical median forward PE ratio. The median is around 20.5. Right now it's trading at around 33.8. I also want to say that Vertiv, though, is not the same company it was 5 years ago. And I think I would gladly pay maybe a bit of a premium compared to its median on this stock. Right now, I do believe maybe it's a little bit too high for my taste, But if this one pulls back, if that forward PE ratio for me gets closer to 25, 26, and it's not impossible, we've kind of seen it various times in the past year or so, I would like it at that value. That's where I would like it. Maybe I would even mind buying. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about Vertiv, but I want to look at now the forward PE ratio of Dell Technologies. Dell Technologies is also a bit overvalued compared to its median. Right now, trading at 12.5. The median is 9.7. So for me, this is one that not much has changed outside of the AI market, but the moat is not that much of a moat from what I'm seeing that I personally wouldn't pay a premium for it like I would for Vertiv, right? It doesn't mean the stock can't go up. It's not that I'm bullish. The market is super strong in the AI server space, but the overall business, I don't think much is gaining from it in forms of margins or other things outside of top line numbers that I would be willing to pay higher than the premium. Hopefully that makes sense to your mind. And now kind of going back here to Vertiv, why would I be willing to pay the premium? So Vertiv seems to be kind of like how CoreWeave is that helper of NVIDIA to build these AI factories by building quick AI infrastructure and AI servers and getting it up and running pretty quickly. Vertiv seems to be that same player like CoreWeave, but for the AI infrastructure. Here we can see that Vertiv has also extended its reference design library on its AI hub with the co-developed data center power solutions and cooling designs for NVIDIA's GB300 NVL72. This was in April of 2023. And they kind of mentioned that by staying one GPU generation ahead, Vertiv enables customers to plan infrastructure before the chips land, with deployment-ready designs that anticipate increased rack power densities and repeatable templates for AI factories at scale. So one of the things NVIDIA wants to do, Jensen wants to do, is make these factories, AI factories, super quickly because they get to sell more products, right? And like I mentioned, CoreWeave is really good at it, but Vertiv seems to be a main player in the infrastructure side. We kind of see here that they are building kind of this massive data center Coliseum. Excuse me. And one of the things with Coliseum is iGenius is building a blueprint with Coliseum designed to be repeatable globally with Vertiv and NVIDIA, aligned on future platform support, including DGX GB300 systems and beyond. So again, I do believe the AI factory market is coming, and we're already seeing them being built out. NVIDIA and Vertiv seem to have a very, very great partnership that they are probably going to be the go-to players, and I wouldn't mind paying that premium for them. Then Dell Technologies. Dell Technologies is not the first time we've heard from Dell and NVIDIA. In May 27th of 2025, NVIDIA had a technical blog, how Dell Technologies is building the engines of AI factories with NVIDIA Blackwell. And they kind of showcase how Dell is projected that the AI server business will grow at least $15 billion this year. That's massive. And they're kind of showcasing how they build the servers and shipping them to massive customers. And it's why they were chosen by one of their largest customers to deploy 100,000 NVIDIA GPUs in just 6 weeks. So this cool partnership with Dell, with Vertiv, and with companies like CoreWeave and NVIDIA allows this true opportunity for AI factories. So like I mentioned, I thought it was very bullish for definitely CoreWeave. For Vertiv, it showcases that strength. Very bullish for NVIDIA because it showcases that everything is perfect with the Blackwell Ultra. Maybe not perfect, but near perfect. Now, the final thing I want to take a closer look at before I end this episode, and if you are enjoying, I'm trying to hit 75,000 subs. We're so close to hitting 70,000, so make sure to hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button. But let's jump in here to Cadence and Synopsys. So both Cadence and Synopsys were up about 5% for the day. Both these players are pretty much hit the same market. They design EDA software. So this software is what an engineer, a chip designer uses to build a chip or to design the chip per se. Unfortunately, about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, China said, United States government said, look, you're not able to send this EDA solution over to China. We're going to restrict it, and stock prices went down. Now, there was a whole U-turn due to maybe some trade deals happening with US and China that now Synopsys and Cadence are able to ship back to China, right? So we saw these stocks up. Again, this is more on just the software that is used to design AI chips. It doesn't really have to do much with the AI design itself. But why I mentioned that this could be bullish for NVIDIA is because it does showcase that the United States government is using export restrictions as a trade tactic. And while I don't believe United States should or would end up sending the best out of the best chips to China, like the H100, the H200, the Blackwell, all 200, the B300, all that. There is an export restriction on weaker down chips, like the H20, like the potentially B30. And to me, this gives me the thought process, maybe some hope, that the weaker down AI chips are going to be used as a trade tactic if we want something better from China. Now, the question is, if that is the case, when will it be used? It's not going to be just for nothing. So there has to be something cool that comes, amazing that comes out of it, I guess I would hope, in return for it. So I don't know when that would happen, but if that does open up, even the weaker down AI chip, it opens up a vast, vast opportunity for NVIDIA, for AMD, and other semiconductor companies as well. So it just gives a glimmer of hope about that being a potentially reopened market. So congratulations to Cadence and Synopsys shareholders. I do believe this is very bullish for y'all. So take care, have a good day, and see you all next time.